You want to know, I am kind of happy that Trevor Bauer is getting the attention he is, even if it is somewhat negative attention, because after all, you got this from Sunday's game, which we really haven't talked about. And I do like the competitive spirit. I do think this is above and beyond the call. Great line by Ken West of Politically Incorrect Baseball Fans on Facebook. He said, when asked about reporters about what you're about to hear, and this is a highlight that's a few days old, you probably heard it already, but hey, one more won't hurt you, and you probably will like it. Said, oh, sure, the ball went over center field, but I was just trying to, toss it to the second baseman. But that's how juiced the ball is this year.
And that'll be all for Trevor Bauer as Terry Francona's on his way to the mound. And Bauer is not going to be happy. The inning got away. Some defensive miscues.
Hey, Rosie,
frustration.
Trevor Bauer just took the ball from the pitcher's mound and hit the batter's eye beyond the wall in center field. I know you were looking down at your score sheet. I didn't want to interrupt you. He took the ball from the pitcher's mound before Tito got out there and threw it over the wall from the pitcher's mound and hit the batter's eye in center field.
Well, Terry Francona stopped him before he went off the mound and talked to him about that, and he is following him down the steps up the tunnel into the runway. That is not going to be a pleasant conversation. Tito also turned to the Royals dugout and looked like he had just a signal to Ned Yost of apology.
And I would say any team that had an interest in trading for Trevor Bauer, that just ended with that incident.
Not so fast, Tom Hamilton. Because, in fact, Jeff Passan said that's not going to have any impact on the trade value. I mean, we kind of know that Bauer is very aloof in all this, so here we go.
That has zero effect on his trade market. If you are a team that's interested in acquiring Trevor Bauer, you know what you're getting. You're getting a guy who's a little bit different. You're getting a guy who is a fierce competitor. You're getting a guy who will rub some people the wrong way, but other people will absolutely adore him.
And, yeah, the interesting thing is that, Bauer is aloof. I mean, I'm not breaking any news there. But what he does works for him. It does rub some people the wrong way. I can be aloof. So I kind of, we talk a lot about Bauer. But here's the deal. The Indians then work out a 3-team deal, and they're getting a lot of, off of that. Because the Indians do have a deep staff. Bullpen, maybe not deep staff. Bullpen isn't as bad as last year when it was atrocious. But they got guys coming off the injured list, since they got to be politically correct now. But what happened is that the Indians have some pitching staff depth. And also, Bauer has been up and down this year. Not just with his mind, as you heard right there, but his pitching. So they deal Bauer not to a team that the Indians, who are only 3 out, think that will beat them. Now, he traded him to the Reds. And here's the deal. They get a 3-team deal. 2 teams that really aren't going anywhere. I know, yes, I've said the Reds have got all this pitching. Now the Reds have all this pitching. Now the Reds are designed to win 2-1 games, theoretically. Except the pitchers who could actually keep the ball and the score down to 1 run will be taken out after the 6th inning. And, well, you get the idea. The Cleveland Indians last night acquired Yasiel Puig and left-hander Scott Moss from the Reds, and Franmil Reyes, Logan Allen, and infielder Victor Nova from the Padres as part of a 3-team trade. That's a lot of talent that you're getting for Bauer. Bauer is traded to the Reds, and the Tribe does not think that the World Series will be an all-Buckeye State affair, where the winner is, what is it? No, we can't have extra innings anymore. So instead of putting the runner at second base to begin the 10th, I suggest a sing-off of Sloopy. There you go. That's what I would suggest right there. So, anyway, Padres, in the deal, they get Taylor Trammell from the Cincinnati Reds as part of the 3-team deal. And so now here's the deal. So what happens is that the Indians, their staff, I said Danny Salazar comes back, okay, but they got Mike Clevenger, Shane Bieber, who lost 2-0 last night to Justin Verlander in the Astros, and that could be a playoff preview. Zach Plesac, that's decent four-man slot. Adam Pluko, he's made some starts. Corey Kluber is going to come back in August. So they feel that the staff is still deep. In getting Allen, it's a top prospect. And they feel like he could be somebody who could join their staff in the future. Now this year, his ERA is 5.15, but it's in the PCL, Pacific Coast League. That's a hitter's league. Well, so is the American League, but you get the idea of what I'm trying to say. Moss, meanwhile, in AA, he's got a 3.44 ERA. Here's the deal also. Remember, Minnesota Twins are on pace to hit, 300 home runs. Well, the Indians then get power. I mean, they get a lot of talent for Bauer, who, did not start off the season well. They're only 10th in the league in runs. Reyes has 27 dingers this year. Puig has 22. So they picked up not only some guys who, all right, their stats aren't overwhelming, but wait a minute, there's some reasons for that, and 49 home runs this year. That's not bad. And a lot of people also think, and this remains to be seen, we'll have 2 more hours to figure this out, but the Reds, are they going anywhere? Now, a lot of feeling that the Reds may just try to turn around and trade Bauer today to a contender. Therein lies the rub. Will to be or not to be a Red? That is the question that the GM has to make in all this. Anyway, the Indians do pick up a lot of talent for the stretch drive, though, for a hit. I mean, I know Bauer has been one of the best pitchers in baseball, but he's been a guy who's been hit and miss this year. So, there you go. Of course, Puig wasn't best known today, by the way, for his trade yesterday. As he was being traded, as that came over the wire, so to speak, there came another story that he had been traded, are you ready to this, to the Indians while he was getting into a fight with the Pittsburgh Pirates. A real big hey rube. By the way, the local teams, I say local teams, Reds and Braves, they're playing right now. Braves are the Braves are up in the middle of the 6th, 4-1 on the second place Washington Nationals. And at the end of 4, the Redlegs lead the Pirates 3-0. The Pirates have won only 3 games since the All-Star break. In other baseball, the Yankees lead the Diamondbacks 2-0 at the end of 2, and it's scoreless in the middle of 3 between Toronto and Kansas City in a game of 2 teams that are going nowhere. Of course, one could say the same, Pirates and Reds, that's for, the Pirates are now 3 games out of 4th place in the AL Central, or National League Central. Give me a break. Okay. Let's see here. So there you go. By the way, another source is reporting 2 things. If you are looking for Noah Syndergaard to get traded from the Mets, there's a source that says that's not going to happen. Mets have won 5 in a row. They may think that they've got a contention on a wild card. And, of course, they made a big deal getting Marcus Stroman from the Blue Jays over the weekend. That's what really got the trades started off and all this. But there has been another deal that has just gone. The Rays and Brewers, 2 teams that are, I think you both think in playoffs. Brewers maybe more division and Rays wild card, I'll give you that. But Jesus Aguilar, 29 years old, traded from the Milwaukee Brewers, right-handed bat that the Rays won, in exchange for right-hander Jake Faria. That's not a bad deal, but the thing is, Aguilar has not performed all that well this season, hitting only .225 with 8 home runs for the Brew Crew. And so, yeah, then you get Aguilar, slugging percentage .447. Faria was named a starter entering this season. he's only made 7 appearances this year, but he's gone 10 innings, 2.70 ERA. So I figure they could withstand that, but kind of a nothing deal. Well, I say nothing deal, but the idea is this is such a Rays deal. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just such a small mark. Do you get Syndergaard? No. Do you get a big bat? Do you get a Puig? Do you get somebody? No. Who do you get? We get a guy who's hitting 220 with 8 home runs from the Brewers, and they're willing to make the deal because they don't think he's any good anyway. They think that they're stronger without him to win the division. By the way, another deal that is said, these are what sources say, they have not been made official, but the Astros are looking to acquire from the Cubs Martin Maldonado for outfielder Tony Kemp. Maldonado played for the Astros. You may say, didn't he still? No, he played for him last year at 231 for him. A defensive catcher, that sort of thing. But the Astros aren't getting any, numbers from their catchers. Robinson Chirinos is hitting only 237. He's got 13 dingers, but still. Backup catcher Max Stassi putting up stats that even Luis Pujols, there's a name from the past, would be embarrassed by, hitting only 167. That's a hit in every 6 at-bats. Of course, Maldonado was just traded from the Royals to the Cubbies. Kemp was designated for assignment by the Astros. This is who the Cubs will get, and he was only hitting 227 with 7 home runs. Of course, the Maldonado was really picked up as insurance due to some injury situations with the Cubs, so they can feel like they can get rid of him. So the Astros get the catcher that they had last year that they won the division with, in hopes of now going and winning the World Series for the second time in 2 years. I still haven't gotten to that big old fight. I told you about the trade. Yeah, there was the fight, and this was a real bench clearing brawl. I mean, this was not everybody runs out and looks at each other. The Redlegs do not like the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's like the old days between the Lumber Company and the Big Red Machine when those two teams dominated the National League. Don't believe me? Well, listen to the manager, David Bell. He is very upset that the Pirates, they throw inside.
I care, the players care tremendously about our job. We take it very serious. We're paid to do a job, but it's much more important to us than even that. We want to be on the field. We want to win games. I can't even begin to explain how much we want that. But like I said, it's much bigger than that. When you have a friend, someone you care about, have a 90 whatever ball thrown at their head, and nobody will do anything about it, we have to do something about it. We have to, and whatever that takes. I mean, we have to be able to go out there and know that we're protected, and it hasn't happened.
But this is the thing. I mean, you got a pitching team, ninth inning of an 11-3 game, and the pitcher, it isn't a batter charging the mound. No, it's a pitcher charging the dugout, which is insanity. And then you heard from the manager, David Bell, the Cincinnati Reds, who, by the way, is now on my hot list for this. He had been ejected from the game 8th time this year. How are you ejected in the era of replay 8 times in a year? The guy is losing it. He comes out of the dugout, he's been ejected, and he fights the other team's manager, Clint Hurdle of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Oh, they throw inside too much. Oh, they're upset that Dietrich admired his home run back in April. You know what? Now I'm proud to be a Pirate fan. Pirates, really known old school, playing the game. Reds, let them play. No, not when it breaks sacrilege.
20 WE